Hey there, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Each Tuesday in primetime, we're showcasing films made by 5 directors: John Ford, George Stevens, William Wyler, Frank Capra, and the man we're focusing on tonight, John Huston. Joining me to discuss the films is author and film historian Mark Harris, who wrote the book that spawned our programming. The book is Five Came Back. Mark, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Glad you're here. Up next, a critically important John Huston documentary made about a battle during the Italian campaign. We have the unedited version of San Pietro. Now, there's no question this is a very important documentary, but it's not important necessarily for the right reasons or for the reasons you'd expect. What's the story here?
Well, Frank Capra asked John Huston to go film the liberation of an Italian village. Capra had almost a fantasy in mind of the Allies triumphantly coming in, grateful villagers pouring out of every crevice with, wine and bread and tears of gratitude. And so he told Huston, go find a town that fits this description.
After the taking of North Africa, as the Allies moved up, and in Italy, towns were falling. So it could have been any town. Capra wanted that story.
That's right. Huston and Eric Ambler, who was kind of his British counterpart, who was working on the film with him, found this town, San Pietro. But although it seemed to fit the bill, once they got there, the town had already been liberated. There were no grateful or ungrateful villagers in sight, and the whole place was mined with booby traps and tripwires, and it was still being shelled even as the Germans retreated. So what happens in San Pietro, the Allied incursion that you're going to see, is actually completely restaged.
And it worked. People thought they were seeing the real battle. Why did it work so well?
Well, the reason that critics thought it was real is that it was so realistic. Huston did not have the goal to put something over on the American public. He really wanted to show what he thought a battle looked like. And so he used techniques, a shaky camera, a kind of way of filming the soldiers so that they seemed aware of the camera but weren't either playing into it or self-consciously avoiding it. He used techniques that are now hallmarks of what we think of as quote-unquote realistic war movie making.
There's one moment early in the film where, and again, from a movie-making point of view, it's fairly brilliant. You see an American soldier shot and go down, and it's almost on the side of the frame. He's not focused on that guy, which adds tremendous realism to it. And it had the effect of me thinking, even though I knew it, I'm like, oh, I can't believe we just saw that. But of course, we didn't just see it. That guy was acting.
Well, one thing is that in coming into that town for the first time, Huston was really, really affected emotionally by what he saw. He saw dead soldiers. He met a group of young soldiers on the road who were killed very shortly after Huston and his men encountered them. So he wanted to show the toll that these battles were taking, including on our side, and he did that in San Pietro.
And the military objected to its release, but not because of the recreations.
Right. The military objected to its release because the bodies of American soldiers dead American soldiers were shown. And this was considered absolutely taboo in American war documentaries. It was thought to be much, much too demoralizing to show actual casualties.
And so the movie, the version that we're going to see, is unedited, and so it has the staged footage, but those soldiers, while not victims of that Battle of San Pietro, those are American soldiers killed in action in the Italian campaign.
Right, and Huston had an interesting run-in over this and other movies with higher-ups where, at one point he was accused of making anti-war documentaries, and he said, I hope if anybody ever tells me I've made a pro-war documentary that they take me out and shoot me. Huston didn't want to sugarcoat the war or what happened in it, and so on one level, it's an important level, San Pietro is a deception. On another level, it's a sincere and even successful attempt to convey what a battle looks like.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. Staged or not, it is a powerful film from 1945. Here is the unedited version of John Huston's San Pietro.